Hi there everybody and welcome to another PDF Tuesday, which is absolutely not a thing, but since my last PDF review was on a Tuesday last week, I decided to do another one today, which is also a Tuesday. And last week I talked about a PDF that held a lot of very cool and very funny magic items and was more written as to be a joke, and the magic items were more on a ridiculous level. This time I'm talking about Skaldrics Cabinet of Curiosities, which is also a collection of magic items, but these are maybe a little bit more serious and will fit into any Dungeons and Dragons campaign you're playing. Hi there, fellow Dungeons and Dragons players and Dungeon Masters. I am Mr. Tarask, and this is your go-to YouTube channel for everything third-party Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition related. I do reviews, previews, flip-throughs, and if you want to see me continue doing what I'm doing and you've been browsing on my channel for a while or you're totally new, make sure to click right there on the subscribe button. It really helps a small YouTuber like myself out a lot when you do so. So make sure to just do that, click the thumbs up, and also hit me up in the comments if you have any questions about the PDFs that I'm doing, about the books that I'm doing, whatever. I am ready to talk to you. Always, I reply to a lot of my comments, almost all of them, so we got that going for us. We are a community and we will stay a community. Now, let's talk about Skaldrics Cabinet of Curiosities. This was sent to me by the creators, so thank you guys for, first of all, creating this, and then second of all, sending it to me. And they asked me if I could look through it and maybe feature it on my channel. And since I got more time on my hands for making videos, as you probably noticed, I am ready to talk about more PDFs because there's so much good work on the Dungeon Masters Guild by creators who do it in their free time and try to earn an extra buck by doing so. So I am all for that, and I really want to check this thing out. And I've already checked this out, of course. I've already browsed through it, and if I think it's good enough for the people on my channel, you people on my channel, then I just talk about it on my channel and I will browse through it. Now, this thing will set you back free $3. And by that I mean $2.99. So not even $3. So imagine yourself going to your local Starbucks with $3. I mean, the barista behind the counter, they will laugh at you and tell you to go to the Dungeon Masters Guild and pick up a module by your favorite creators instead of trying to buy coffee for $3, because there's no way in hell you will buy coffee for $3 in your local Starbucks. I don't think there is anyway. Anyway, $3, it's not a lot of money. If you're shopping around Dungeon Masters Guild, make sure to maybe add this to your basket if you are looking for more magic items. And who is not looking for more magic items, right? I am the kind of person that sits down with monster books every now and then. I sit down with magic items book every now and then. I just browse through them while I drink a cup of coffee, see if there's anything that piques my interest for my players. And that's the thing with these modules. It's that kind of thing you browse through, trying to find inspiration and stuff to use for your game. I'm really quickly going to check if I am still recording. Yes, I'm still recording. That's all good. I'm gonna browse through this, and because there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. First of all, I absolutely like the cover. I like that there's this cabinet of curiosities, and there is this dwarf type person who is who has like a lot of stuff laying around, and there's probably all kinds of magical stuff laying around in his cabinets. And he has probably all kinds of junk, but also all kinds of stuff that's really worth it. And I think that's just a cool thing to have because it comes back in the book. There is a lot of artwork in here, and then there is this dwarf person who when you travel through the gates of Waterdeep, he starts talking to you, and he has like a second cousin or something, or a cousin after a cousin with an aunt and whatever, and they have this magic shop, which is like in the dark gray areas of the city. So yeah, why this module? The writer actually says it himself. Honestly, I never get enough of magic items. I could spend hours reading and rereading them, looking for that one that fits into my campaign, and that's basically what these are for. You pay $3 for a module like this, and you get a bunch of magic items. Even if you get one cool magic item from it that one of your players really likes, and you get a lot of laughs from it or a lot of fun from it, it is worth the $3. That's not even a discussion point for me. There's item tables where you can where you can actually roll a D100 to get a certain magic item, but I'm not the random treasure type of person myself. I like to have treasure that really fits my players, or with some tweaking fits my players, or items that completely do not fit my players because I just want to see what they come up with when using them. So there's a lot of good items in here, but I first want to talk about the new character option, which is background, called the Collector. I think this is very cool. Everywhere where you go, you have this connection with other collectors or hoarders. I personally, in real life, I have an old Volkswagen van, and I know how this feels. I have an old air-cooled Volkswagen van, and everywhere where I go, with that van, I have a lot of people to talk to. I always know if I need a new carburetor or whatever. I always know the right people to ask, and they know somebody, and they know somebody, and I'm always collecting stuff for my van because it's always costing money. So this collector thing actually makes a lot of sense because everywhere you go, you can use contacts to find the hidden gems. You roll investigation with advantage to find information on an item you are after. You can only do that once per item per area. So if you're looking for a certain green gem with a special power or something, you actually you can make an investigation check in town with advantage because you know the right people to talk to, you know how to talk to them. You maybe you can trade some stuff with them in order for them to give you information on items, stuff like that. There's always I personally take this character option as a personal thing because I am a Volkswagen person. So yeah, it is a niche, and just like collecting magic items or junk, because it also says you also like the I don't know where exactly it says, but kind of like the junk or whatever. There's a background in there which I think is a cool background because people are always taking either the soldier background or the sage background or the acolyte or whatever. Pick another background for once in your life and go with it. Now, a few magic items. That's basically it. There's the background. There's a bit lore of like this shop your players can go into with this dwarf, and then there's just a bunch of magic items that either work for your campaign or don't work for your campaign, and it costs you $3. That $2.99. That's it. I have a few magic items that I like in here, which is first of all the Amulet of Tree merging. Yes, the Amulet of Tree merging. You can, with this magic item, go into a tree. Like, you can be bound with a tree to truly merge with a living tree once per long rest. This means that they can enter the tree and be hidden, as well as see out of the tree and cast spells on themselves. The wearer of this amulet can remain in the tree as long as they desire, but once they depart, they cannot re-enter until have a blah 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 blah. So this is like an amulet you wear, which does not make sense at all as long as you're wearing it and not using it. And it is like this very particular situation and where you use it. But it's just funny, like people forget you have it, and then suddenly you get ambushed by an owlbear or something, and you're like, nope, I'm out. See ya, peace, and you're just go into a tree and stand into the tree, or you need healing, whatever, you need healing, go stand in a tree, and for 3 turns, you go stand in a tree, and for 3 turns, you cast like healing spells on yourself, and then you step out of the tree, and suddenly you're fully healed, and you got all that stuff going on, you took second wind or whatever, and suddenly you're back. It does not make sense. I know it doesn't, but it is. It's a very cool magic item that I think is something worth giving my players just to see what they will come up with. That's for me always like the main thing. Then there's like an armor of the healer, which basically just gives you plus to any healing spells, but also the armor will automatically stabilize the wearer when dropped to 0 hit points. Fey creatures have more friendly disposition to the wearer of this armor. Stabilizing somebody automatically when dropping to 0 hit points is a very powerful feature to have on a magic item. But having no long or short rest requirement with that might be a little overpowered. I would if I give this to my players, I would have like once a day, because otherwise you can keep dropping to 0 hit points and you just stabilize every time which kind of takes away the dangers from dying. As long as your party members survive and they can get you out of there, you will be fine. Which is a very, very strong thing to have. And like the Orc Relentless Endurance is already... Now, they dropped to 1 hit point, which is different. But anyway, the Orc Relentless Endurance is already, for example, something very powerful. But they get that once a day. So, I mean, having that is just a really, really good thing to have. But it's cool, and I would just put a long resting on it. That's just my opinion. Armor of the Water Runner. You can run on water. Beast String. There's all kinds of boots. There is all kinds of stuff you would expect from magic items. There's got rings, there's boots, there's coats, and then there's a Cadenza's Violin, which is a violin, basically a +2 violin. Your performance checks are made with advantage, but also your DC of spells cast while playing this instrument used by both hands have +2. Really powerful. And also, why a violin? Everybody knows a viola is way cooler than a violin, so I would make it a viola. Not that that makes any difference, but I've played the viola in another life, and the viola, so much more beautiful sound than a violin. That's my opinion. Cloak of the White Wolf, Cook's Aid, and then there's another one that I thought was really, really, really cool. There's a bunch of rings here, earrings even. There's 2 more that I think were really cool. Oh, here, for example, there's the monkey bracelets. Grant advantage on acrobatic skills. Like, that's something that's cool to have. These bracelets, they have monkey faces in them, and they're cool to have. They give you something that's really nice to have, but it's not overpowered in the sense that suddenly you're this overpowered creature that cannot die, for example. Having advantage on acrobatics checks opens up a lot of gates for you, but it just gives you something extra without you being like this massive overpowered person. That's, for me, is how a magic item should be designed. It should give you something very cool, but it should be careful when giving it, like when giving too much of that same thing to you, if that makes any sense. If this would have said advantage on acrobatics and athletic skills, and you can swim for 3 days straight, and you do not have to eat, I mean, that would be overpowered. But it's cool. It's like one of those thematic things. But there was one other thing that I thought was really cool. I mean, a lot of these magic items, by the way, also the art is my kind of art. Just a bunch of lines on a piece of paper that leave a lot to the imagination. I like this kind of artwork. I do not know why. It just gives me the feeling I'm playing 2nd or 3rd edition. Just takes me back to the old days. For me, the old days. I know there's a bunch of people way older than me who played 1st edition. For me, those were the old days. I'm 33 years old. I started when I was 14 years old. Where is it? Did I already pass it? There was this really fun... Oh, there's one. The Weasel Beard Stones. These are like these stones that you see people wear in their beards in order to, like... Yeah, how do you call that? I don't... like, grand luck. The set of 9 pretty volcanic glass piece with weasel edgelings. Once woven, that was the word I was looking for. Once woven into a beard, these stones grant luck to the owner as the lucky feet. Recharges 1d3 charges at midnight. Having the lucky feet as an extra, that's really powerful. It is a wondrous item. They say right here it is a wondrous item. Oh, but it's just uncommon. So it is, no, sorry. It is an uncommon item, which is, I mean, having the lucky feet for free, not on a moment where you need to like take a feat and give up something else in order to take the feat. Like being lucky is really overpowered. Like just I mean, Indiana Jones, for example. He has the lucky feet. We all know he has the lucky feet because that person is as stupid as a person as can be, and still he's still alive. So yeah, The lucky feet is really powerful, but I like the thematic thing where you need to have a beard first of all in order to be able to do this. So maybe your player who plays a dwarf or an old wizard could have these things in their beard, which is actually very cool. I love that this is a magic item, that these are like the beard stones as a magic item. I've never thought about that. Like I thought about rings, earrings, all kinds of jewelry, necklaces, but I never actually thought about beard stones as a magic item. So I really like that. And then there's the robe of the collector. This is the one that I was looking for. And I like this because now you need to be the kind of party that plays with the rules of how much stuff you can carry. I forgot the name, but like the carrying capacity rules, the encumbrance rules, that was what I was looking for. If you play with those rules, this robe is really cool. If you don't play with those rules, this robe is also very cool, but you more use it as flavor. Basically, this robe has 20 pouches spread all over the robe, right? And you can put like stuff in the pouches, and each pouch is 1.5 cubic feet, and you can put stuff in these pouches, but your robe will never weigh more than it normally would weigh. So you can store away all kinds of like a book here and like a dagger there, and maybe a sack of gold there and whatever, maybe some scrolls here, and you can have like this completely filled out robe of the collector, all kinds of stuff put in there, and it never weighs more, so it doesn't affect your encumbrance as long as the 12 pockets are not the 20 pouches are not overfilled. If you have more than 20 items that would not fit in the robe, then your encumbrance kicks in, but before that your encumbrance doesn't kick in for this robe. And if you want one item from your robe, you, for some reason, when you are attuned to this robe, you always know where it is. Mechanically, that means that if you need something, like there's maybe a special dagger to kill an orc, I don't know, an orc slayer dagger or whatever, and you know you have it, you will reach into your robe of the collector, and you will just always have the right item, the item you're looking for, in your hands when reaching in there. So it's always on top or something like that, mechanically speaking. So retrieving an item from the pocket requires you to use an action. That's very important. That kind of balances it out a little bit. I think this is the perfect robe for to play like one of those really old wizards that have a ton of books and scrolls and all kinds of useless stuff, carrying around the useless stuff with them. Or maybe you would have like this crazy plant lady that has a robe filled with plants. Like it, my girlfriend, for example, is a crazy plant lady, so she could wear this robe and then have like a cactus here, and she aloe vera there, and there's some weed in here. I mean, like, I didn't mean weed. There's stuff in here, and there's stuff in here, and all kinds of stuff in all kinds of pockets, and there's like plants going everywhere, and she's kind of like poison ivy meets crazy plant lady. Maybe there's even a cat in here, whatever. So that's actually a very cool thematic magic item that I like very, very much. And that is basically it. There are some rules for new magic item rules to make them scale, to make magic items scale. There is like this small system because the writer says like sometimes you give somebody a +1 sword, which is actually a very special weapon in game, but then they grow in level and they get a +2 sword, and then they forget about having that +1 sword, and the +1 sword becomes like something they have, which is not fair towards the magic item because it is still a very special item. So you can kind of scale the magic items with your players who level. And it's a cool little system. It only has like 1 page or 2 pages to it. 2 pages to it. So it's very cool. And like you have everything here. You have musical instruments. You have swords. You have axes. You have necklaces. You have rings. You have earrings. You have a shield. You have a dagger. You have a belt. You have braces. Like all that stuff you would expect magic items are in here. And there's just more of it because we've been into 5th edition for a while now, and we all know like 90% of the magic items in the Dungeon Masters Guild. We already know them, so why not pick up something that has more magic items just to, I mean, I don't know. You can even throw your players off guard with it. Like here's some magic item, and they look at it and they're like, I never saw this magic item, so they cannot meta the shit out of it like some players do, which is really cool to do, which is really cool to have. And there's nothing more to say. It will set you back to $2.99, which is less than a cup of coffee in a lot of places, and in some places it is a cup of coffee with an extra piece of chocolate or whatever. Check it out. Put it in your shopping basket. Link is in the description below.